Test, test. Tonight, preparing you for potentially life-threatening temperatures and wind chill. We have full coverage coming up. Plus, a lawsuit accuses an SIU administrator of turning a blind eye to sexual abuse at his previous job. We have those stories and more now on the Tuesday night edition of News 24 at 10.
Live, Little Egypt's breaking news source. This is News 24 at 10.
And good evening. Thanks for joining us. And as the cold temperatures do set in, we have a long list of closures and delays tonight that is scrolling at the bottom of your screen. So we begin with the weather, where a weather alert day has been issued for tomorrow due to the potential of life-threatening temperatures and wind chill. News 24's Terry Rodriguez has been tracking the cold front all evening long, and he has the latest on its track tonight. Terry, what can we expect? Alright, thanks Terry. Turning to Curl Springs tonight, where as bitterly cold air moves into the region, experts advise you to limit your time outdoors. But many road workers and farmers are required to be outside despite the frigid temperatures. Jeff Beasley has around 1,200 cows to maintain. While the cold doesn't bother the cows, it does create problems on the farm, especially with machinery. But after that problem was fixed, he had to bust ice off the hay grinder and get the scales on the truck to work so he could dispense the right amount of feed to the animals. Frigid temperatures also affect employees with Carbondale Public Works. Robert Harden, the Maintenance and Environmental Services Manager, says even when temperatures drop, there's still work to do. Jeff says he's thankful his feed truck has heat, but he'll still be adding layers so he can hop out to work. So to make sure they have access to it, Jeff will need to check the watering systems and ponds every morning in the extreme cold. Hardin adds, if you see road crews out and about in the coming days, pass slowly and give them plenty of room. Portable space heaters are a popular way to supplement central heating, but they can be hazardous if not used with caution. According to the National Fire Protection Association, space heaters account for 43% of U.S. home heating fires. Firefighters with the Harrisburg Fire Department say if you are using a space heater in the coming days, plug them in directly into the wall and do not use extension cords. Firefighters also say to keep the heater at least 3 feet from anything that can burn and on a solid flat surface. When you're not using them, turn off your heaters and unplug them. This includes when you leave or go to sleep. A lawsuit accuses an SIU administrator of turning a blind eye to sexual abuse at his previous job. A group of people sued Ohio State University, claiming Dr. Richard Strauss sexually assaulted them. Strauss worked at Ohio State from 1978 to 98. He died in 2005, and news outlets in Ohio report at least 150 people claim he sexually assaulted them. The lawsuit mentions Dr. Ted Grace, the current director of Student Health Services at SIU. He held the same title at Ohio State University in 1995 when, according to the lawsuit, a student, Steve Snyder Hill, told Grace about a case where Snyder Hill was assaulted by Strauss. The lawsuit said Strauss denied the allegation and Grace didn't investigate further. It stated, quote, Snyder Hill said that Dr. Grace was taking Dr. Strauss's side and that Snyder Hill felt helpless and powerless in the situation because it was his word against Dr. Strauss's. The lawsuit also said Grace lied about prior reports of abuse by Strauss. Grace has worked at SIU since 2008. He declined to comment on this story through an employee of the Student Health Services Department. A spokesperson for SIU also declined to comment. Dozens of cars lined the streets outside the lease of the Brethren Food Pantry in Pinckneyville today for a huge food giveaway. Some residents even parked their cars Monday night to keep a spot in the line, while others started the day early, like Diana Lashbrook. Once distribution started, vehicles were marked with the number of families inside, which indicated to the more than 30 volunteers how much food to load into the trunk. The St. Louis Area Food Bank provided the more than 100,000 pounds of food, which included onions, potatoes, milk, cheese, and chicken. Around 90% of the food is donated to the lease of the Brethren Food Pantry that comes from the St. Louis Area Food Bank. St. Louis Area Food Bank President Meredith Knoop said the organization is excited to be in town helping with the event, which marked the organization's first January food fair in 43 years. Meanwhile, George Coley, Lease of the Brethren founder, called the donation close to record-breaking. Those in line are just thankful for the extra help. Meanwhile, a shelter in Mount Vernon is temporarily extending its services for anyone needing shelter from the cold. Typically, Lifeboat Alliance only takes in people who have cleared background checks, but Executive Director Jennifer McCarthy said they'll have security around the clock to perform background checks so people aren't stuck in the cold. Lifeboat Alliance is located at 1717 Jefferson Avenue in Mount Vernon. McCarthy said security will have extended hours until the weather warms up. You can see these stories and more at our website, www.news24si.com. Now here's the latest on your national headlines. Fox News update.
In Fox News. The Midwest in the deep freeze. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Forecasters are warning of record-setting cold. Chicago offering help for homeless in the form of buses as movable warming stations.